The Twiist Insulin pump from Sequel MedTech is officially launched, and people are using it. Today, I'm speaking with two users of the system about everything from the algorithm and its features, like using emojis to bolus insulin, how it feels wearing it, its infusion set, and more. Welcome to the show. I'm Justin. I have type 1 diabetes, and on here, I talk all things diabetes tech news and research with experts, industry leaders, and those using the tech themselves. This podcast releases on YouTube in video and on all podcast platforms every Monday. Sorry, this one's coming a little bit later. I'll be trying out Twiist myself in a few weeks. I'm already wearing the Libre 3 Plus continuous glucose monitor, which is integrated into the system, and I've got a review of that coming out this Friday. So make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and click that bell for alerts. That way you know when my videos drop. There is a YouTube link for all of my audio listeners in the show notes. So the Twiist pump has been out for 3 months now, and my two guests today have been using it for a month. We've got Sean Wilkinson, a T1D of 5 years, who's used many AID systems out there, including open source DIY Loop. And we've got Jori Matushek, a nurse practitioner at a pediatric endo office who uses all of the diabetes tech. The three of us get into the experience transitioning to the new system, how they're wearing it, what they think of the new Libre 3 Plus integration, the algorithm, and all their favorite features. Plus, we talk about, how their glucose control is after a month on it. I also included all of your burning questions about Twiist. And shout out to my listener, Shay, who helped me in the prep of this episode as well. If you're wanting to learn more about Twiist, where it's headed in its future, I have interviewed the CEO of Sequel MedTech a couple times. Both of those videos are on my YouTube channel. Keep in mind that anything you hear on this show is not medical advice. It is for educational purposes only. Always consult with your medical team before making changes to your healthcare. All right, let's get into it. Sean and Jori, welcome to the show and my first episode ever in my brand new Diabetic Studios. That's very barren.
So exciting.
What an honor.
It's great to have you both here. Thank you for reaching out on social media when I was calling all Twiist users and just giving me a really good understanding of your experience so far. And now I'm ready to share that with everyone. And we're all LADAs, right? We're all diagnosed at least later in life, past the age of 20, all three of us.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Late bloomers. Cool. Well, let's start with you, Sean. So you were diagnosed in 2020, right before lockdown.
Yeah.
What a time.
Yeah.
And you have been on multiple systems since then. Kind of give us a little understanding of the technology that you've used thus far.
Sure. Yeah. So I, of course, right after diagnosis was on needles, insulin straight out the vial. Pretty soon after, I think a couple months after, started on the T-Slim. And that went great. I had great results with the Tandem. And I think I did that for about a year. And eventually, I'd probably heard about the Omnipod at that point by then. But eventually decided, want to try tubeless. And so I tried the Omnipod and it was great. I mean, it's still hard to beat tubeless systems. And so I was on that for probably... Oh gosh, now I'm doing math and that's never good. Probably a year or two. Again, went great. And then I actually did, when I found out about DIY Loop and the tide pool algorithm, I wanted to try that. And so I did that for, I think also roughly about a year. And it went great. The only problem with that is of course it wasn't FDA approved. And so my doctor wasn't the biggest fan of that. And just wasn't trained on the system, didn't really know much as far as how to help me or how to make adjustments to the system, stuff like that. And then she told me that insurance might eventually be like, hey, since we don't have, I think the records of it or something like that, I didn't have Night Scout set up. And so they didn't, basically it was too many hoops that I was worried about that I was going to have to jump through. And so I said, I'm just going to go back to Omnipod 5. And so, of course, then when Twiist was announced, I think I heard about Twiist through you, actually, Justin, through your Instagram. And when I found out it was the tide pool algorithm, I was like, okay, I'm in. Because there's so many features about it that I loved through DIY Loop. And so, yeah, I started on that on Twiist about a little over a month ago. And so far, so great. I love it.
Gotcha. Yeah, and when you mentioned Tide Pool, so what happened was Tide Pool years ago took the DIY loop algorithm, got it cleared through the FDA, and made it so that anyone could take up this algorithm, right? So then Sequel MedTech comes along, they put it on their Twiist pump, and now it's the same ecosystem. Some features are missing. It's an older model of the algorithm, but it's the same kind of look and style. Now, Jori, you work in this space. I'm sure you've been well aware of DIY Loop for some time, and I know you've worked with a lot of technology, and you have Type 1 yourself, and you work with others. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the space.
Yeah, so I was actually diagnosed in 2016 and started off on Medtronic. It wasn't really until I became a nurse practitioner that I realized there were so many other insulin pumps out there. So over the last 5 years, I've kind of jumped around, tried all the different insulin pumps. I think it's really important that, I understand from a personal perspective how the insulin pumps work so that I can kind of best help families. I still have a lot of families that are looping. I still have a good handful. Most of my patients, I would say, that are on Omnipod, but then I still have a lot that are on Tandem as well. And I've been getting tons of questions about Twiist, so I'm really going to be excited to report back all my findings. So
do you just try out all the tech when it comes out?
Yeah, I'm always like, let me try it. Let me review it. As soon as I can, I'm on my reps.
You guys have excuses for that. Since you guys both work in that area, I guess my endocrinologist is always like, God, Sean, you always have to try the newest stuff. And I'm like, I want to find what's best.
You should.
Yeah,
exactly. And you should. And, no hate on your medical care team, but I think that the medical care team should be wanting you to try the best and see what truly works best for you.
Right.
And supporting you in those decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
So what was it? I mean, Sean, it sounds like with you really enjoyed your DIY loop days, so you wanted to go back to that ecosystem. Was there anything else about Twiist that you were like, oh, I got to try this?
I mean, honestly, the Tide Pool algorithm was pretty much what sold it for me. To have it on an FDA-approved system was pretty much what sold me. And I mean, I'm sure we'll get into that, more of the actual pros list of it, but being able to bolus from your watch it's such a small thing, but it's so handy. And I wish more systems would implement that, and maybe they will down the line. But yeah, overall, I would say what really sold me on it was the Tide Pool algorithm.
Yeah. Jori, what about you? Besides wanting to try out all the latest tech, is there something about the system that just really impressed you or made you very curious?
Yeah, I actually really like the workout option. So the fact that I can customize my targets during workout is super important for me. All the other pumps, you have one option, it stays there. Whereas different workouts for me, I need different targets. And so that I can really, make sure my blood sugars are in check during those times is a really great option for me.
Well, how does that work on Twiist? Because I know with DIY Loop, I was able to create all of these presets. I thought there was maybe just one for workouts. Are there ways to make multiple types of workout ranges?
So I go back in and I'll switch it. So I'll go into my settings, and depending on the workout that I have going on, I will adjust it accordingly.
Because I think there's just one.
There's only one.
Yeah, so you'd have to manually. Okay.
So I'll go back into my settings and edit it. Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Omnipod. So far this year, I've taken about 15 flights, so I know a thing or two when it comes to packing for type 1 diabetes. One thing I love about Omnipod 5 is that all the supplies come in one small convenient package. No additional packages to remember for tubing or infusion sets, which helps me travel with confidence and ease. See if you're eligible for a 10-day trial by visiting omnipod.com/diabetic. On there, you'll see full safety and risk information and trial terms. Again, that's omnipod.com/diabetic. Sean, how smooth did it feel, or not, going from I guess you were on Omnipod 5 to Twiist? How did that feel?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we pretty much, my care team pretty much handled all of the settings to plug in, stuff like that, basal rates, all of that. I think we lowered my basal rate quite a bit, because what my trainer told me was that Twiist really, for basal rates, it's really good to go off your body weight, start there and calculate it through your body weight. Again, all the math, I don't fully understand all that or know it, but so we lowered my basal rates. I think carb ratios pretty much stayed the same. And I mean, overall, I really didn't have too much trouble transitioning. Things were pretty smooth. I have pretty much similar to the Omnipod, have very little lows. And I've noticed pretty much right away. So one of my qualms with the Omnipod 5 was I have really stubborn high blood sugar, just for hours. And that's pretty much been eliminated with the Twiist so far. I've had a follow-up appointment and we've had to tweak my settings a little bit, but overall, like, the highs I've had are not anywhere near as stubborn as when I was on Omnipod 5. So overall, the transition has been pretty smooth, I would say.
That's great to hear. Jori, I guess you've had experience, with the Loop ecosystem before. So you were coming into Twiist knowing this home screen and a lot of the features. But what system were you on just prior to getting on Twiist, and how was that transition kind of coming from that system?
So I go back and forth between Mobi and Omnipod 5 quite often, just depending on with trying all the different pumps. I have lots of pumps at my house. You should see my closet. My husband's like, I have no room for anything.
I want to come over and hang out and check it out.
I'll send you some pictures afterwards.
Cool. Okay.
But most recently I was on Mobi. So I've loved Tandem. I like their algorithm a lot. So yeah, it was a pretty easy transition to setting wise to go from Mobi to Twiist. My settings from Omnipod are very different though than my Mobi. So I find that to be very interesting.
Yeah, they work, the algorithms work so differently that you can't just, because when I tried Mobi, I went from my Omnipod 5 settings and it was a disaster. I guess you've only really been on it both for about a month. Mm-hmm. How long did it take to feel like, okay, I'm secure in this, the settings are honed in? Are you there already, or do you think you have some time left to get there?
I would say I personally feel like I could still use a little more time. Probably one or two. Like, I feel like we're almost there. And I don't know whether it's going to be like a carb ratio thing. Going back to what kind of drew us to the pump, the customizable target range is another area that I was really interested in. And I currently am set around like 100 to 105 milligrams per deciliter for my target range. And I could see myself wanting to go lower than that. So I think down the line, we'll probably keep making adjustments.
How has your medical team responded to how low the target range can be? Because they set you significantly higher. It goes as low as 87. They set you to 100-ish. What is their apprehension to just being like, let's get you down?
I think they just want to, I think they'd rather just do it slowly, as opposed to just suddenly jumping right in and constantly going low all the time. Which I'm totally fine with. Cause I'd rather run low than high, I guess, but I don't want to be having, urgent lows all the time. Every time the Twiist trainer comes in to mention the lower target range, my endocrinologist, has been very excited about the lower targets. And seems like a lot of, patients have been wanting that. So,
yeah. Jori, what about you? Do you feel like you've gotten there with settings, or you have a little more time left to get there?
Yeah, so I actually started at the lower target. So I'm a little crazy with my blood sugars. My trainer did not necessarily want to start me there, but I was like, let's give it a try and I'll adjust it if needed. But I do feel like my settings, I've tweaked a couple here and there, as I've seen. I obviously do a lot of my own managing myself and looking at reports, so I feel pretty comfortable with where I'm at this time.
How has the pump fit into your everyday life?
Yeah, I was able to, I've been on a tubed pump before, so I feel like I kind of went back to my old habits. I've always attached it to my bra. That's worked really well for me, not being on my pants. But I love the preset meal options. I've used that constantly, just to really have a lower target before going into meals. That for me has been a game changer.
Yeah, so that's you'll put that setting on. It's going to set a much lower target for about an hour, or until you log carbs.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
And I actually find that I use it throughout the day, even when I'm not eating, because it's still going to decrease my target a little bit. Even if I'm sitting a little bit higher, I'll put that on and it'll even drop me a little bit below that 87 mark.
Sean, what about you?
Yeah, I was going to say the pre-meal preset is also one thing that I'm, of course, using it before meals, but like you said, Jori, I'm using it kind of throughout the day as well. If I'm like noticing I might go a little higher, then I might turn it on just for an hour and have it kind of work a little harder to bring me down. But yeah, as far as like Jori, I've been on, a tube pump before as well. And so it definitely took some getting used to again. I don't really like the belt clip that Twiist gives you. It just feels very loose. Good. Yeah, it's really like it feels very.
It doesn't
unstable.
stay on super well.
Yeah,
it just disconnects. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically just like a little thing of plastic.
I'm sure the accessory companies that make all these like fun, like Sugar Medical and all those, I'm sure they'll come out with a really good one. It's just funny that Twiist didn't come out with one that you're so happy with.
Yeah, I've seen like a few people doing like on the Facebook groups, they're 3D printing theirs. And so of course, people are going to come up with their own systems. And
well, and you have a hack, right, Sean?
Oh, yeah. Well, so, okay, it's basically an on-body Mobi patch. And so I'll stick that on my stomach, stick the Twiist to that, and then kind of wrap the tubing around the Twiist and then run that to the infusion site so that there's not as much tubing like flopping around.
Yeah. Send me the link to that. I'll put it in the show notes so that people can check it out themselves and see if it's a good option for them. So you're wearing the Twiist attached to your body.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you want
to show wearing it like that right now?
Yeah, I can show you if you want.
Yeah, show us some skin. Yeah. show us some Twiist.
So it's basically just
cool.
So yeah, there's the infusion site, obviously, and then I'm just wrapping it around the Twiist itself. So, and it's super secure.
Is it easy for showering? Like, how do you take it off?
Yeah, so I'm still unsure if the Twiist is like shower compatible. I've heard varying things.
I think it's like resistant.
Yeah, so I err on the side of caution with that. But yeah, so I'll just unhook it and then I'll peel it off the patch and then just shower it like that. And so far, I mean, the adhesive, once it's like, I just let it air dry and stick the Twiist right back on, and it holds pretty well.
All right. And we sent a message out to find out about water resistance while we record. So we'll have that for you later. Jori, tell us about battery life. So they give you 2 chargers that can charge 2 batteries each. So does that mean you're getting 4 batteries?
Yes. So they look like this.
Okay.
And they just come out, and then you plug a new one into the cassette during a change. I find this to be extremely annoying.
Tell us about it.
I mean, just to have to remember that I not only like have to have my site changed, my cassette changed, I also have to remember before to have these batteries charged. I find it really annoying versus like Mobi. I can throw it on the charger whenever I want. Now, I believe you can also change the battery, but like during like the wear of a cassette. But I think it's strongly encouraged to do it during a cassette change. So I have trouble remembering to charge them.
Interesting. Yeah, I know that when I spoke to them about why they provide 2 chargers, because that was surprising to me, is because they imagine people having 1 charger at home and 1 charger in their to-go bag at their office, somewhere where like would probably be the other location that they'd be any given day. But still, it is this like other, thing that you need to think of, like, with Omnipod, I'm never worrying about charging. And even with Mobi, that was a thing that I was surprised by, because especially like if my chart, not only my Mobi would be low, but I am running high and I don't want to take off the Mobi because I want to get my blood sugar down, I would have to like lay in my bed and charge it for like 20 minutes. And maybe it's a good, statement on patience, but I didn't love it. Sean, what about you? How's the battery life for you?
Yeah, I mean, I work from home, so I haven't had a need to really even use the second charger or the other two batteries. Like I pretty much just swap between two of them. But I will say, and I wish I had a better reason as to why, because I really don't know why, but I do prefer, like even with the tandem, just being able to plug it in and charge it. Something about it, it just feels like one less thing to worry about, I guess. Even though it's really not that different at the same time. But
I mean, well, we're not opening up our phones, putting in a battery, screwing it back on. Like there is this extra thing, whereas like if you're working and you're wearing, say, the tandem or either of the tandems, you can just sit it next to you while it's charging. And
that's true.
Sometimes even when I have to change my infusion set, I'm taken by surprise, right? It's like the middle of the night and I'm like, oh, yeah. I didn't, like, it's expired. So then I like wake up, like, and if I was like, oh, I need a charged battery at 2 a.m., right. I could see that being a little, it's just a new way of thinking, which maybe after a few months you'd be a little more,
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I can't say it's really like affected me that much, but it's just, it's a little thing where it's like, okay, I'd prefer to have it be a plug-in charger.
I can report back to you. She said that it sounds like it's just like the splashing or maybe a quick like drop in the toilet, but besides that,
ooh.
Could be
good to know. Could
be an issue.
Let's talk about the infusion set. I know that both of you had lots of things to say about this, and not all the best. So Sean, tell us a little bit about your experience with the Clio infusion set.
Yeah, I'm a very thin person. I've always just been like twig thin. And the Clio is, first of all, it's a manual insertion, which I don't love. It's hard to beat the Omnipod, just like automatic insertion. The Clio, I feel like I can pretty much only wear on my stomach because that's like my fattiest area. Whereas the Omnipod, I would put it on my arms, I'd put it on my thighs. So the Clio, I feel a little limited in my real estate, I guess. The adhesive of the Clio is not great at all.
Really?
It's hard to explain it without like seeing an insertion in process, but I'm using Skin Tack. Yeah, you've got it right there.
Yeah.
At least from what I've experienced, if you don't have Skin Tack, when you insert it and pull it off, it's going to pull that infusion site right out of you. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Jori, tell us a little bit about the Clio infusion set.
So the first time when I was putting it on, I got a bad batch. So only 2 out of my 10 actually worked.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like every single one like did not attach to me. Their customer service was great. They got me a whole new box very quickly. Like in the next day, they overnighted it. But I still have trouble getting them to stick. They also provide you with like a skin prep to use prior to insertion. So they really recommend.
Is that just like an alcohol swab, or is there something else to it?
It's like a skin prep. So I don't think it's necessarily, still have an alcohol swab that you'll use. And then it's just to kind of make your skin just a little bit sticky. I still prefer Skin Tack and I'll use that before.
Is there anything about the Clio that you like?
No.
I know that. Isn't there like a way, like when can't you like twist it? Like, you can unclip it and then put it on different ways? Like, I thought maybe that would be a cool thing.
I mean, yeah, but I guess I just end up wearing it in the same way every time. But yes, I guess that could be a benefit of it for sure.
Yeah,
that
but it sounds like it's just a struggle.
It's just hard to put on, and I don't know if I would want to put this on my kid.
You can't even really see the needle, but because it's manual insertion, I feel like if you're like really needle phobic, it's because like the first time I put it on, she was like, you want to put it in really quick. And I didn't do that. And it really hurt. And then I was like terrified to put on the next set. And so it's just like, for kids, I probably would agree. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I'm going to try the pump in a few weeks. And now I'm Scared to put the infusion set on.
It's great.
And it's a 90
Use your
degree,
Mobi tubing.
it's a 90-degree angle, right? So that's why, Sean, you're saying you really only have certain areas that you can put it.
Because I believe the Omnipod is what, like 45 degree or something similar?
Something like that.
And don't quote me on this, but I believe my Twiist trainer told me that because the tubing is a lure connector, I think is what it's called.
A lure lock.
Yeah, she said, any other infusion site you could technically use. And she told me, she was like, if you're really opposed to the Clio, we can look at other infusion sites. So I haven't fully explored that yet. And again, don't fully quote me on that, but
I was told the same thing.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm curious as to why they're not infusion set agnostic. Like, why do they even include an infusion set in the box when other ones can work with it? And maybe it's just a clearance thing. It's probably just a clearance thing. And I do know that Sequel MedTech is working on their own proprietary set.
Right.
And maybe that will even be a 7-day set, considering all of Tandem and Medtronic have their 7-day sets. I couldn't imagine them releasing a new set that's not 7 days. Don't quote me on that, but I mean,
it makes sense.
It would be a nice upgrade and get them up to par with those two companies.
Yeah.
Today's episode is sponsored by T1D Exchange. You can directly make an impact on diabetes healthcare, treatments, and technology by participating in the T1D Exchange registry. It starts with a simple survey about your life with T1D, and it only takes about 15 minutes. After that, you'll have a personal portal with ongoing T1D study and survey opportunities. Plus, some of these studies even offer compensation. Signing up with the link in the show notes helps support my channel, and it allows me to continue putting out free content. You can sign up at t1dexchange.org/diabetic or click that link in today's show notes. What about this advanced occlusion technology? So they have these like sound waves that are able to check on the pressure of if there's an occlusion, they say 9 times faster than other systems. What has been your experience so far? I know it's only been a month with occlusions. Have you had occlusions? And did you feel like they in some way got ahead or alerted you faster than in past systems?
I've never had any occlusions. So I'm not the person to ask on that, unfortunately.
Okay. And that's a good review. Good review.
That's true.
I mean, I've only had a handful of occlusions on any of the pumps. I did get an error message because I don't think I drew all the air out of my cartridge initially. So I did get an error message from that, but I haven't gotten any of the like occlusion or I think I saw somebody posting about a kinking alarm, and I haven't had experience with that yet.
Can you explain to us the drawing the air out of a cartridge, what that means?
Yeah, so but there's like a little bit of air that's left in the cartridge. So before you're putting the insulin in, you're pulling the air out. I think you do it on the cartridges with the Tandem as well. So just to remove any of the air before you put insulin inside of it.
Let's talk about the app. At first glance, and Jori, I guess you're newer to it. What was it like opening this up and starting to use it? How did it feel?
Yeah, I mean, even though I've had experience with like looping in the past, using this for the first week myself, I was really actually overwhelmed. There's just a lot of information that's on the screen, from your glucose to your active insulin time, your insulin delivery, your carbs. So it took me a while to like not just look and it says eventually going to be 40.
Yeah, because it will show you, I think, what, 6 hours ahead, what your trend is.
Yeah, so it did take me like 2 weeks to like, okay, stop watching that. You're going to be fine. I think that if somebody wants like a super, like, not that this isn't user friendly for the right person, there's just so much information on this home screen that could be great for some people, and other people, like, this would be a lot of anxiety, I think.
Yeah. Sean, what about you?
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely like I was certainly used to it being on loop for a little bit. It feels pretty much, like I think, Justin, you said there's a few differences between this app and the Loop app, but it looks pretty much identical from what I recall. I personally like having all the additional information going into the endocrinologist's office. They can, point to a graph and say, oh, if you notice there, then that's why your blood sugar is doing this at this point, blah, 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 blah. So I like having the info there. I think I'm biased just, again, because I've had experience with this app and I found it pretty easy to come back to. And I feel like overall it's pretty user-friendly. I don't know.
One thing I really like about the system is that it has the ability to retroactively adjust carb count. So
I'm doing that a lot.
You order food at the restaurant, the food gets to you, you put in 35 grams of carbs, and you're like, I'm not eating this. I've had that happen. And on this system, you can go back and say, I only ate 5 grams or 0 grams. Will it save you completely from a low? Maybe not, because you have all that insulin on, but you're letting the system know, by the way, I didn't eat that, and we need to adjust for that. How have you been utilizing that, if at all?
Yeah, like I feel like I use it almost every other day, probably. I can be somewhat bad about counting carbs, and so or if I need to correct a low, and I think they recommend this too, but if you go low, you need to, if you're drinking like 15 grams of juice, you need to plug that into the app. Because then it will adjust the algorithm based on that. And there's 3 different absorption times within the app. And so like a fast acting, like a regular meal, and then basically their extended bolus option. So like when I correct a low, I'll have to put in the fast acting insulin. But so anyway, going back to afterwards, I will go back in. If I correct a low, I will go in and put in like 15 grams of fast acting insulin, and I'll put it back for like, I drank that like 20 minutes ago. And it'll still just adjust the algorithm based on me drinking that juice 20 minutes ago. I don't know if that made any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Jori, tell me about how you're using emojis, or how those are ingrained in the Twiist app.
Yeah, so there's going to be 3 different emojis that you can use, and these are all based on absorption time. There's a candy option, and that's going to be your 30-minute absorption, so your fast-acting carbs. A taco, and this is going to be for your 3-hour, your normal kind of food options. And then your pizza, which is going to be over a 5-hour time span for absorption. These are all customizable, and so you can, make it fit to what you want. But yeah, I'm using these for a lot of like low treatments. So the candy option, my regular meals are going to be the tacos. And then really when I have lots of fats and proteins, being able to use some of the pizza.
How are the emojis working for you? Are you happy with the outcomes you're having?
Yeah, I'm using these, every time that I'm going into eating. So I think it's just nice that you can tell the pump. You can't do this with any other algorithm. So outside of like the extended bolus, but really allowing for the pump to know that I'm eating something that's going to hit really quickly. I think that one just like is a game changer for me.
Yeah. And I think on the other side of that too, the pizza emoji, the 5-hour absorption time, it's so nice to not have to go and get off of closed loop in order to go into an extended bolus.
Yeah.
And, once you're done with that, then go back and manually switch into automatic mode. And so it's just a little thing like that. Just makes the, like, I don't know if quality of life is the right word, but it just makes the experience that much easier. And yeah, I've had good experiences with the emojis so far. Good amount of pizza the other day, and I did not have anywhere near the high that I imagine I would have had with previous pumps. So
yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's really cool how it's glycemic index simplified. Are you eating fatty foods? Are you eating sweets? Or are you eating something kind of balanced? Like just tap the emoji and we'll do it for you. And I've been greatly enjoying that feature myself for 3 years now. When it comes to the algorithm, this one's different than some of the others in the sense that it's adjusting basal. at all times, but there's no microboluses, whereas a Medtronic and a Tandem do have little bursts of boluses that help keep you in line. How are you finding that the algorithm with only basal adjustments is working for you?
I actually, when I wear my Mobi, I actually keep it in Sleeping Beauty all the time. So I haven't done any of the boluses because if I see a blood sugar of 160, I'm going to be freaking out. So I don't have experiences with some of the auto boluses from outside of like my patients.
See, maybe I was just like, maybe I misunderstand the algorithm, but I was thinking that it does give you additional boluses. Is that not?
I don't think so.
Okay. Good to know.
Well, it must be working well.
I was going to say, no complaints then.
Yeah, and it's not to say that like this algorithm has those emojis, right? Whereas another system doesn't. So it does. You're getting other things back in return, but yeah,
Right.
it differs in that way.
So yeah, well then, it's going great.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good to hear.
I will say this is like, I don't know if this is where this, would fit into the discussion, but someone on, I think their handle on Instagram is Black Diabetic Info, so I can't claim this as my own, but brought this up where when it's delivering insulin, the pump is so quiet. And so when like Omnipod, for example, when it gives insulin, it does that little like ticking sound. And so anytime it was giving me additional boluses, I would get really anxious about that. And I would just micromanage it and just be looking at my phone way more. Because the Twiist is so quiet, I'm checking my phone less and I'm less anxious about it.
Wow, that's interesting. So, yeah, there's nothing like when you're in a really quiet movie theater and you hear the clicks and then you notice the person next to you at the movie theater, like look over, like, what the heck is this clicking? You're like,
sounds like
leave me alone.
Yeah.
Mine's always the beep at the end.
Well, speaking of beeps, are there beeps and how often are there beeps? That's a big part of these, systems and people's comfort with the system they use.
I actually do not like their, and maybe I can adjust this and I just haven't, but I do not like that I'm getting all these notifications when I'm less than 64. It's beeping constantly at me. And maybe I just haven't changed my settings enough with my freestyle, but I find that I get a lot of like hitting 64 and it doesn't stop beeping because of that every 1 minute like adjustment with your like the freestyle.
Interesting. And you're only getting alerts from, say, the Twiist app, not the Libre
Correct.
app, right? You're not even using the Libre app.
No, you can't. You can only start it on the Twiist app itself.
And then are there beeps coming from the physical hardware, the pump as well?
It's so loud.
You're getting beeps on the pump and the phone alerts?
That's how mine's set up.
Okay. Sean, what about you?
Yeah, I was going to say there is
I didn't turn it off. That's why.
yeah. There's a setting where you can go in.
I see it now.
Their quiet mode, I think, is
the like low glucose.
Right. So I think right now mine is only set up to where if I have an urgent low, the pump itself will beep at me. Otherwise, I'm just getting notifications on my phone and my watch, basically just saying like, "Oh, low blood sugar." So.
Ooh, tell us about those notifications on your watch. How are those?
Yeah. Good. I get them because Jori, you're right in that, the pump uses the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus CGM, which updates every minute. I've noticed the notifications I get on my watch when I have a low blood sugar, it sends them to me every 5 minutes.
The pump is only making decisions every 5 minutes.
Yeah. So you can see on the graph, the CGM graph within the Twiist app, you can see it reading it every minute. The algorithm itself, like you said, only adjusts for every 5 minute reading, essentially. Well,
Sean, I know that you already said that you're using the watch, and that's one of your favorite things. What are some of the things you're doing on it?
I think there's 4 different options you can pretty much do on there. And of course I'm not wearing it now. But it's on the charger. But you can set the pre-meal bolus, which is pretty much how I always do it. I do it on my watch. You can turn on workout mode, you can do their like the meal bolusing option where you can plug in the different emojis. And then there's a separate bolus option for just a quick bolus. So if you just want to quickly plug in like, 0.1 units of insulin, you can do that. And I find myself using it mostly at, like I said, for the pre-meal bolus, and then I'll use it when I'm laying in bed at night so that I don't have to check my phone. Like if I just want to quickly, look at my numbers and see what's going on, I just do that. So
overall, how would you say your control has improved or not so much improved when going to this system? Let's say your time in range, your standard deviation. Are you finding, those to be improved here, about the same? What are you seeing?
Right now, only being on it for, a little over a month, I'd be curious to see, what my A1C will be like. Just from the month, I do feel like I have a little tighter control and just more like personal control over it, if that makes sense. And again, going back to me personally, one of my biggest pet peeves is just running high. And so when I'm running high, I get really anxious, and I do feel like that the Twiist has so far, and I would assume will continue that way, to lower that anxiety and give me better control over my highs. So
I don't think necessarily like my time in range or anything has changed, but waking up and seeing double digits and not not in the hundreds for my blood sugars has been awesome. It hasn't been since I was on the dash that I feel like I've woken up consistently in the 80s and 90s. So that's been something really cool to see.
And I'll kind of piggyback off that as well. The waking up aspect of it, I do feel like I feel a little more comfortable going to sleep with a high blood sugar. Just knowing that the pump will work a little harder to bring that down. And like the past few times I've gone into sleep with a higher blood sugar, and even if I have a few units of insulin on board, to where if I was in that same situation on the Omnipod, I might be a little scared to wake up with like a low blood sugar. And I found with the Twiist that like I never really get a low with it. It corrects me, it brings me back down. I always wake up in range, but I don't really have a low blood sugar.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about the Freestyle Libre 3, but I want to spend a little time on that to hear what it's like, because the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus, it works with, I guess this is now 3 pumps that it works with, but it is still pretty new, and I think it's gaining some traction. What has been your experience using it? Was this your first time using the 3 Plus with a pump?
Yeah, so I'm actually wearing the Freestyle Libre 3 and my Dexcom G7, and for the last like 10 days, I've been doing this just to kind of see out of curiosity where everything's been. What I really don't like about it is that I can't calibrate it. So there has been a couple of times that it was the other night I was getting a high alarm from my Dexcom. My Freestyle was saying I was 123. My finger poked, I was high. And so obviously I hadn't been getting any insulin. I couldn't calibrate. And so I felt kind of like, I don't know, almost like hopeless that I couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
I was like
what
trying
do I
to
do now?
I was manually overriding and giving myself a bolus and a correction to bring myself back down. But the fact that you can't calibrate the Freestyle does make it really, really challenging when you're, in a closed loop system.
Can I ask, did you find that got, like, was that pretty early on in the sensor session, or was that, like, did it get better?
It was like day 2. So I'm probably on like day, 5 or 6 now between the two of them. And I feel like it goes back and forth,
really?
which ones. I've just kind of been doing like a science experiment on myself over the last, and I'm like, okay, which one's right now? Because last time it was this one, this time it's this one. So that's been really hard.
And so I'm wearing both right now. I'm wearing the 3 Plus, the G7 as well. Wow, we're twins. That's so funny. And you're wearing them in the same location. But this is the thing, like this technology, especially like specifically the CGMs, like the pumps just do their thing. Like they're following an algorithm and they're delivering insulin. If there's an occlusion or kink, that's where things, whatever.
Right.
But CGMs, there is a marred system of accuracy because they aren't fully accurate. And that's how I'm seeing it, because I'm reviewing the Libre 3 Plus now, not on a pump. And it's like the same as G7 in the same sense of like, it's accurate most of the time, but then sometimes it's not. But then, but there's no other option out there that I've found that isn't like that. You know, the G7 has its own things too, but they've come such a long way. So I'm sure in your month of using this system, you're of course going to be so hypercritical of like what is happening, you know, but like after a few months, you know, it's 1 year
Hands
down,
off.
you're like, just letting it do its thing. And like, maybe sometimes you're a little higher, a little lower, whatever, but ultimately you'll see your A1C and hopefully you can feel your hypos. Because, you know, I could understand that being a weird situation. But Sean, what about you? Are you being hyper focused on these numbers, or are you kind of just letting it go and do its thing and things are good?
So that's funny because it updates every minute, you will sometimes like, I'll be like 110 or something, and then the next reading will be like 85 or something. And then the next minute later, it'll be like 100. And so it's really, I feel like I've learned to not jump and make decisions based on one singular number. I tend to look at like the actual CGM graph and see like, look more at the trends of it, I guess. As far as the accuracy goes, I was kind of in the same boat where like the first sensor I put on was pretty inaccurate to the point where like later that night I was calling my trainer like, should I replace it? What do I do? And eventually, I mean, I just kind of left it on. It was close enough to the accuracy to where I was like, I feel comfortable enough leaving it on. And it's leveled out overall. And I feel like the last few sensors I've put on have overall been pretty accurate. And so I felt a little more comfortable kind of just letting it do its thing.
I just need that calibration.
I wish you could. I don't understand why you can't calibrate.
It is something I hear a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if they work to include that because people do like a sense of control. Yet I know that all companies are actively trying to like make it so we do less. But
even if it doesn't mean anything, just put it in so I feel better about it.
Right? Exactly.
Placebo effect kind of thing. Or...
That would work really well.
I will say too, the one thing I like with the Freestyle over the G7 is it feels way easier to put on. Something about with the G7, you know, you have to apply a certain amount of pressure, and I feel like the button on the G7 can be really hard to push. There's no button on the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus, and it's just as simple as just pushing it in. And I feel like it's been painless and it's been way easier. So I do appreciate that about it.
Yeah, for dexterity, it's way easier for people who have issues with that. And then also the applicator is significantly smaller than the G7. You can fit a bunch when you're traveling and not have to worry about size as much. My review, actually, this will come out before my review, but my Libre 3 Plus review will be coming out soon. But I want to do like a part 2 once I've used it with the Twiist system, because I think that's like an important aspect of it, obviously.
Well, don't wear the Dexcom then also. So much.
I want to understand, because this pump is only US for now. And in the US, we have health insurance, and that's how most people are getting access to their systems. So I kind of just want to understand how that process was for both of you. Were there any issues, or was it kind of smooth sailing for getting clearance for, let's say, both the Libre 3 Plus and the Twiist pump?
I'm on CVS Caremark for pharmacy benefits, and the Twiist is technically through the pharmacy. For some reason, CVS Caremark, they cover the Twiist, but they have yet to cover the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus. So, which seems kind of pointless to me, considering they work in tandem. And so I had no trouble getting the Twiist itself, but the CGM, I had to go through a separate, what do you call it? Like a outside distributor.
Vendor, yeah.
Yeah, vendor. And
with like a coupon card or something? Like, you're not paying full price for these, right?
Yeah, they have a what's it called, a buy down program. And so we're going through, it's Byram. And so I'm getting my CGM and getting my Twiist supplied through them as well, but the Twiist is covered. But yeah, so the only issue essentially was really getting the CGM covered by my insurance. But through Byram, everything's pretty much taken care of. And the price I'm paying for the CGM is essentially what I was paying for the G7s. So
it's funny. I'm having the opposite problem where my insurance won't give me access to Twiist. I'm going to have to do cash pay for it. But my Libre 3 Plus is cleared. So yeah, in the name of science and what I do in reviewing, systems, I'm going to get 2 months supply of it and play around with it. But yeah, because it's so new, that's what they're saying. It's not cleared yet for them.
Well, I'm curious though, because I know they say they designed the pump so that it's, affordable out of pocket or whatever. So will you have to, because I didn't pay anything for the pump itself.
So that's if your insurance covers it. I think it's if your I thought it was if your insurance covers it, that they would cover the starter kit. And then after that, you wouldn't pay any more than $50 per month.
That's probably true.
Yeah. For me, I think that the pump is free, but what's not free are the cartridges.
Yeah. And that's what
everything
mine
else
is.
that comes in the box. And that's what the $500 a month is going to be for.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. Yeah. What about you, Jori? Did you have any issues or was it pretty seamless?
I feel like I've been on the wait list for a long time. So actually getting the starter kit. So I brought it with me. I thought it was cute to see.
Oh.
I felt like their packaging was super duper cute. So I thought I'd show it at least a little bit. So this was covered for me. And then going forward every month, it's a $50 copay for me. I don't like that you can only right now get it in a 30-day supply. You can't get the 90-day. So I find that to be really annoying. I like to get it all at once and, not have to worry about the multiple refills and calling Byram to get them. This is more.
What if you're going on vacation for 60 days?
I mean,
what
I'm
do you do in
assuming
that situation?
You can usually call your insurance for an override typically. I don't know what it would look like on the Byram side, but I don't like come to my closet and get a few extra supplies, but I don't like the 30-day supply. That's really frustrating. But here's the refill if you want to see that. So I think they're also super cute. Mm-hmm. So, and then inside will come with all of your cassettes. And I think all their stuff is super cute.
Yeah, it's really nice
the packaging's
packaging.
Nice.
It makes everything organized and easy to store and, easy to pack things too. That's what I like about the Omnipod 5 boxes is that I know one of these has 5 pods, throw it in my bag. Whereas when I was on Mobi, I was okay, 3 of these, 3 of these, 3 of these,
bag situation.
All of these things. So how are we feeling? It's been 1 month for both of you. Jori, you have a closet full of other options. Sean, you've tried other options. How are we feeling? Are you going to stick with this? Are you happy? Are you going to stick with this for indefinitely? Or, do you want to give it a little longer until you kind of make that decision?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going off of how I'm feeling now, I'm very happy, I would say. And I would like to stick with it. It's just, there's so much, the pros greatly outweigh the cons of it. And again, I can't really think of too many cons to it, honestly. And especially too, if we get new infusion sets, I think that would be, I have very little bad things to say about it if that's the case. So yeah, I think it's really gonna, if anything, only be uphill from here. I think if we can tighten up my control just a little bit more, but overall I'm incredibly satisfied with it.
I would say that I could see myself staying on it for the winter. However, I need a tubeless pump. Nothing beats either Omnipod or Mobi in terms of wearing it on your body, not having to worry about the tubing. Is it falling in the toilet? So for me, I could wear it during the winter, but I probably can't wear it all year round when it's summer and everything.
Is there anything else that you want to see come to this system, I guess, besides the new infusion set?
Tubeless.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I would say.
And the Dexcom compatibility.
Yeah. What about Eversense? Would you consider that? Are you considering that?
I'm considering it personally. Jori, are you not a fan of it really? Or?
No, I mean, it's not that I'm not a fan of it. It's just that the transmitter you still have to charge every day. So even though you put the actual transmit or the sensor underneath your skin for a year, the transmitter has to be charged every day and then put a new patch on. So I think that to me, like, doesn't like make it any easier than wearing a sensor for 10 days.
Sure.
If anything, I think it's more difficult.
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons to it. I think you should get two transmitters, have one charging while the other one's on your arm. I think
it's the charging thing.
It's the charging thing. Yeah, no, it is. It is a new way of thinking. Like, these things are so small already, the ones we're wearing, that the transmitter is actually significantly larger with Eversense. But then you have the ability to just like pop it off, go shower, put it back on, put it.
It doesn't backfill. That's the only thing. It doesn't backfill.
It doesn't backfill. Yeah, you'll lose automation for that amount of time. So kind of like signal loss essentially while you're not wearing it.
Yeah, for me it's just the accuracy of it that I'm interested in. So,
which I do hear it could be significantly more accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I have a friend who's on I don't know if it's the 365, but maybe the last model of the Eversense, but she's had nothing but great things to say about the accuracy of it. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for coming on the show and sharing your stories. This was so fascinating. I've been talking about this pump for so long. I've been using a similar app and algorithm for even longer, and just seeing it come to life and speaking to you about it, it makes me so happy to hear that it's happening and see it, and then I'll also be able to share it with everyone. So I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I want to hear from you. What are you most excited about for this system? Will you try it? Have you tried it? Share your thoughts in the comments. Is there something missing from the system that would make you feel more comfortable trying it? Let us know. And did you enjoy this panel format of the show? I've got ideas for future episodes that I could do this for. Please let me know, what do you want on this show in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. There is a link in the show notes. There's also just like the latest news going up to that website, diabetic.info. Thank you all for watching. I'm Justin, and I'll talk to you later.